We continue to examine the United States action in Venezuela this morning. The results of the capture of Nicolas Maduro have some celebrating, others on edge, worried about escalation in other countries. Joining us this morning to help us put this into historical context is University of Alberta American History lecturer Katie Burton. Thanks so much for being here. First of all, is there precedent for this move from the United States?
Certainly. There's a very long history of the United States getting involved in Latin America specifically. This is a history that goes back to the 19th century with the Monroe Doctrine, 1823. This is the first time the U.S. started to flex its muscles, telling Europe that it can't colonize in Latin America anymore, and basically to stay out of their side of the Western Hemisphere. But in 1904, we see Teddy Roosevelt, start to expand upon that, something called the Roosevelt Corollary. And that basically gave the U.S., well, they gave themselves permission to just go into Latin America at will. And this was a result of some instability that was happening in parts of South America. There was concern amongst the U.S. that Spain might come back in, or other European countries might come back in to colonize in Latin America again. So Roosevelt said, let's take it upon ourselves to just go in and take control. And pretty much from that point on, we've seen repeated instances of the U.S. entering Latin American countries at will when they see it as necessary. The U.S. gets to call the shots, essentially, because of this precedent. So this isn't anything new in particular. And in fact, it's building upon a pretty lengthy history of U.S. intervention.
Now, this action that's happening right now from the Trump administration, are there elements of it that are new?
I think that there is a level of there is an unprecedented nature to what's happening specifically with the Trump administration. We've seen this coming to a degree. We've seen this aggression building, tensions rising, strikes in the Caribbean. So this specific invasion isn't a surprise. The speed with which they moved in and just captured Maduro is kind of shocking. And that is the element that, while itself not unprecedented, we saw the U.S. do this in Panama at the end of 1989 and going into 1990. In fact, 36 years to the day that they had pulled this move already in Panama, we see the U.S. again going into another sovereign nation and capturing their leader. What is concerning is the nature of aggression building up from the rhetoric surrounding that particular invasion, and how the U.S. almost immediately began sending warnings to other countries, including Mexico, Cuba, and of course we know the Trump administration has had its eyes on Greenland and has been antagonizing Canada for a while as well.
Yeah, that's my next question. At this point, should Canada be concerned?
I think there's fair cause for concern. And I think, if anything, Canada should be on guard. We don't know, of course, what Trump will ever do on a day-to-day basis, but we do know he has a history of following through on the things that he says. And a lot of people take him for being very bombastic, and his bluster is just talk, and it's easy to wave it away. But he follows through on quite a few things that he threatens to do. So I think with that reason, there's just cause to be concerned, to be on guard. I don't see an invasion coming, but at the same time, who knows? I mean, it's hard to tell. But that being said, I think that Canada should certainly be very aware, have some heightened attention to what's going on south of the border, because we've seen this building of tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela now escalating to this point, and we've also seen a building of tensions between the U.S. and Canada. So whether it's economic in nature or more direct conflict, I don't know, but Trump doesn't just say things to say things. He tends to mean what he says. And I think we need to take him at his word, especially when he's threatening certain action.
Katie Burton joining us from the University of Alberta. We appreciate your insight this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.